I've been so, well, I've been feeling so sparky and inspired the last couple of weeks leading up to me hosting this trimester of awesome, this 12-week group experience where I'm sharing the best of the best, my favorite exercises that are so practical and applicable to especially women who value their families, their work, and their alone time. I have so many things that I've been wanting to say and share that when I do have an opportunity to dive in and start noodling, doodling, recording audios like this, it's been hard for me to stop. And I'm sharing that with you because one of the most beautiful benefits to me of being a mom and even being a wife, even before the kids hit the scene, having a family in this form is that they keep me grounded. They serve as bumper guardrails when I can so easily live in my head and literally, virtually, or spiritually and energetically. I could so easily just stay up here. You can't see me, but I'm doing a motion towards my head. I could stay up here all day, but it's like when I'm really in that zone. And then my husband Jeremy, since he's been home for the last several years, he's like, you want to eat with us, like you want to have some lunch? And I'm like, oh right, because when you're really in that zone, it can be easy to forget you have physical needs. Oh yeah, now that you're in here, I do need to pee. Like this happens with my boys when they're gaming. They're so in the zone that it's like water break. I yell upstairs for them to like check in with their bodies and actually tend to physical biological needs and things. And so I wanted to extend this reframe to you just in case it resonates. If you have roomies, whether they're fur babies, or whoever it is that you live with, and having gratitude for those bumper guardrails to help you remember that one, yeah, sure, physically, like you have biological needs. You got to pee, you got to eat, you need some water, you need to stretch your legs. Let's get some circulation. I'm actually going to stand up literally as I'm saying this and walk around my desk and whatever, because I've been sitting for a while. So on a physical level, there are benefits to that. But also, if you have roommates, if you have pets, if you have kids, if you have a partner or multiple partners, you're choosing that because you value those relationships. And so, isn't it actually beautiful that they care enough too and value you enough too that they're like, hey, you want to like come back to earth and come be with us for a little bit? Because sometimes I want to just keep going, keep going, keep going. But then, as I talked about in another episode on pillow talk and accountability with myself at the end of the day, if I know that I have checked that box, and I have redefined enough, which is another message that I have, like a sacred Pomodoro, and what is the actual most valuable thing that I could do for my work, for example, for a given day, or for myself and my own physicality and health in a given day, whatever it is. If I don't actually check the box or fill in the little heart bubble for some presence, like physical presence with my family, or if I'm away physically, calling in to check in with them or take a video and send to them so that they know that I was thinking of them in time and space in this day, then I don't actually feel like myself, because I did choose to get married. I did choose to and was able to have kids, and that means something to me. And sometimes, as ridiculous as it sounds, but maybe not, because I bet you're totally resonating with this, sometimes it's easy to forget that. And it's just, I get on the inspiration train and I'm just like, I want to create, I want to create. But then isn't that ironic? Don't you think? Because my people have families and relationships that they care about too. So by my family effing with my flow and reminding me it's time to eat dinner, it's bath time or bedtime or whatever, on the days when I actually do get so sparky and inspired about creating, like me being able to talk about that in itself is a benefit in my business, the way that I have set it up, because then I can talk to you and you know exactly what I'm talking about. There are so many benefits to these air quotes interruptions, but really I see it as accountability for me to check in. And it's an opportunity earlier this week, because don't get me wrong, I actually don't have many of these days. I used to have lots of these days early on in my business where I was so inspired. And I'm grateful because that version of me, stocked up some fat cash and lots of life experience and so many beautiful relationships and connections with people and clients and colleagues all over the world. But I worked a lot, and I had lots of nights where I was trying, like, one more email, guys, just one more email, trying to stay in the office and do the thing. And then I swung to the other side of the pendulum of not having that much bandwidth or energy or desire to create and share externally beyond like a handful of clients at one given time and my family and friends and whatever. So now I'm reintegrating both sides of that pendulum. And as someone who's experienced burnout in some form, business wise, it's like, it's not about me trusting myself to start at this point. It's about me trusting myself to have that sense of completion. And so the discipline is actually for me in the stopping and knowing when to stop. And like I said, sometimes the answer is going to be no, hang on, let me finish this thought, or I'm in the middle of a conversation with the client or whatever. It's not like drop everything instantly and go, unless it's an emergent situation. And then yes, I would. It's not about that. So basically I'm sharing this just to share my own thought process on it. The other night, I was recording episodes. I was writing out the calendar for Trimester of Awesome and what the workshops are going to be, and putting that into a Google Doc for people who are curious and wanting to learn more and whatever. And then Jeremy, my husband, was like, you want to come meet with us? And I was like, yeah, I'll be right there. But I was still in the zone. So then he sends in Bryson, my oldest. Daddy said to ask you if you want to come meet with us. I was like, okay, yes, you're right. I do. And it was an opportunity for me to just check in. Do I want to? Yes, I felt complete. I did what I needed to do, and I needed to trust and step away, trust that it was enough, savor that start stop, which is what I was talking about in another episode. Like, the anticipation is half the fun, Bridgerton season 2 vibes. So like, okay, bye work, bye creativity, I'll see you tomorrow, like, no, you hang up, no, you hang up, doing that kind of thing with my creativity and these messages. To you, don't you feel special? It's about me communicating with you. So again, the point is, if you have experienced burnout, it makes perfect sense that you are nervous to kind of restart because you're afraid that you're not going to know when to stop. So my challenge to you and reflection to you, and I totally get it, to you, is to just notice what helps you know that you've done enough. Pat on the head. All right, we're done. We're complete with this day. And sometimes, like I said, it's an emergent situation because that's what it takes to get your attention and to be able to shift gears. But sometimes it's just as sweet and subtle as a couple of dudes that you love very much saying, hey, you want to come meet with us? And that's what you need. Just that moment. It's just like an alert on your phone, a notification. It's an opportunity for you to check in. Do I or don't I? And why? And there's no guilt, no shame, no shade if you would have said, no, I don't. Because, maybe you're burnt out on family. Like, this actually goes both ways, because maybe you're burnt out on mom mode and you're like, no, actually, self-preservation laws dictate that I actually have a little more alone time right now, and I feel good in integrity with that. But like I said, this particular example is around working. And if you have a hard time stopping, or you get frustrated when you get interrupted, you could put systems in place for that. But also you can see how that literally is a system in place to help keep you grounded and help keep you connected with the people who do really matter to you. And then you can actually be grateful for that air quotes interruption and see it as a beautiful accountability, helping you check in with yourself so that you can make an empowered and aligned choice to step away and know that you've done enough, and trust that it's all going to come together as long as you do keep showing up. I know I'm talking in lots of run-on sentences, and if this were a transcript, it would be a nightmare, but I hope you're getting it. So as always, I invite you to click on the link for the private pod comment box. Let me know if this resonates and if there's anything else you want to unpack. around all this, because it will definitely be interesting as I continue to integrate my two extremes of the air quotes working all the time to air quotes working none of the time. I know that those are very extreme labels and they're actually not true. But it does feel like, okay, I worked a lot and then I didn't. And now I'm finding my flow, integrating both on my terms in this season with this family roster that we have put together. And it's very interesting and obviously ripe with insights. So let me know what that shakes loose for you, and I'll meet you back here soon. Okay, technically that was the end of the episode, but since you're still here, one, I'd love to thank you for spending part of your day with me, and two, I'd love to ask you if you would take 30 seconds, maybe 60, to leave a rating and review in your podcast app before you tap out today. If you've already done that, it's amazing. Please send me a screenshot so I can thank you personally, and know that sharing this episode with a friend has the same magical powers, and I deeply appreciate both. Also, in case you're listening to the end to see if I ever actually introduce myself, hi! My name is Nikki Elledge Brown. I'm the host and author of Naptime Empires and this here On Her Terms podcast. You can find me around the internet at Nikki Elledge Brown in most places, but what you may appreciate most is actually over at onherterms.com. It's what I call the insider library. It's where you can get inside scoop, first listen rights, email updates every time there's a new episode, and then special insider only bonus content. It's all over in our private feed. Okay, that's a wrap for real. I'll meet you in the next episode.